Hi, I'm going to talk about creating content fast because the web thrives on content. Google's appetite for new content is pretty much insatiable, and that means you need to create content, and lots of it, on a regular basis if you want to compete and start earning money on the internet. It really is as black and white as that. And there are various ways, various different types of content you can create. Written, which is on blog posts and forum posts and emails and all sorts of things like that. Audio, video, images and software, and all of those have their place. I'm going to ignore images and software for the purpose of this video because I'm going to talk about the other three. And unless you're a graphics or a coding whiz, chances are that audio and video are probably the easiest to produce. Closely followed by written content. You can create that by typing away at the keyboard, which is what I do. Or you can get your computer to transcribe your words, or you can pay someone else to do the transcription. But you'll end up with written content regardless of which way you choose. Apple computers have got a dictation option. Windows has a speech-to-text program built in, but weirdly not activated by default, but it's there, and you can switch it on quite easily. If you're on a version of Windows that's been produced this century, chances are it's there. Or you can buy a program like Dragon Naturally Speaking if you prefer. Speech to text, it's quite a mind leap, and you may find it slows you down initially while you learn how it works. It's like anything new. And that means you might be better off trying it with one of the free options before splashing out on a piece of software like Dragon. You might find that the free options work fine for you anyway. Or you could prefer to use someone on a site like Fiverr to do your transcription. That has the advantage that you don't have to learn how to break up your spoken text into sentences and paragraphs. Full stop, new paragraph is what you'd be saying in that particular instance. But the disadvantage is that the turnaround time can be several days, and obviously there's a cost factor each time you get an audio transcribed. So 6 one half dozen the other, and this is going to turn out probably 5 or 6 minutes of video, $5 for that, 1,200 words. So it's up to you. It does work for a lot of people. They work that way. Ultimately, it's your choice, and I suggest dipping your toe in the water first if you want to go down the speech-to-text route. And you might have thought, what about machine? Yeah, machine transcription is available. YouTube offer it. But the technology hasn't really caught up with a wide variety of accents, so it's patchy at best. It also doesn't catch up very well with sort of speed and things like that. So if you've got someone with a Scottish accent and an Apple iPhone, Ask Siri is interesting, let's just put it that way. But if you've got the time on your hands to spare and correct some of the guesses that YouTube makes, or just quote some of the guesses that YouTube makes, they can be quite funny, and you could probably use them as content for your own website, saying, look at this stupid machine, or however else you want to put it. But if you create videos or audios, it's best to include written copy alongside them or below them or wherever. Even YouTube, which is a video search engine, likes words to help it categorize things better, and a longer description with your video will typically help it to rank better. It's, again, that simple. Videos can be moving pictures taken with your phone or a video camera. They can be slideshows, and you can create that with a software program, or there's built-in tools in YouTube. Or you can use a slideshow like this one. I typed it out in LibreOffice, which is a free alternative to Microsoft Office, and in quite marks filmed it with a program like Camtasia or Screencast-O-Matic. All that really means is set the screen size, press record, press pause if I want to stop, press stop when I want to stop, and then let it render and create a video that I can upload to YouTube. Audios can be purpose recorded, or they can be the soundtrack from your video. So for instance, I could make this into an audio just by using a program like VLC, which strips out the audio and says, yeah, here's the MP3 instead. You can record audios on your phone. Sites like SoundCloud have an app that helps you do that and helps you upload your recording as a podcast, and doubtless all the other podcast sites have something similar. Or you can use a free program such as Audacity that gives you almost as much control of your recording as you'd expect in a full-blown recording studio, and that's free. Crazy. Written text, type it directly into WordPress, or you can type it into a program like Word first and then copy and paste it into WordPress. The advantage of using a program like Word means that you can use the built-in spelling and grammar checkers, although some browsers will highlight words that aren't spelled correctly. That seems to vary. My version of Chrome does, Firefox for me doesn't, but that could just be a setting somewhere. Don't know. Never investigated. Word normally changes quite a few things to the text you type in to make it look prettier. So you've got things like curly quotes and long hyphens, and I turn those off because they often don't translate when they're copied. They just don't, because they're weird characters and computers don't always cope with that. Or we can use the paste as text option in WordPress, or copy it into Notepad first. But chances are with either of those you'll lose any formatting such as bold and bullet points when you do that. It doesn't take long to put them back, it's just irritating. Different options work different ways on that though. Personally, I just type directly into WordPress when I'm writing a post, or into the YouTube description box or wherever else when I'm writing. It's reasonably rare nowadays for computers to lose all the work you've done, but if you're on a poor connection or just generally don't trust computers, then make a habit of writing in a program like Word and saving your work regularly, or copy and paste from wherever you're writing it elsewhere and save that regularly. How much content should you create? And the short answer to that is lots. Gone are the days when a 250 word or even a 500 word article cuts it in anything but the least competitive niches, and that's ones where pretty much no one's searching. On my blog, I aim for upwards of 1,000 words per post, and even that's on the lower end of things nowadays. I'm gradually training myself to write longer posts, and the aim is to get closer to 2,000 words per post soon, and I'll do that. I'm up to around about 12 to 1,400. In some of the forums and Facebook groups I'm in, the suggestion is between 1,700 and 2,500 words per post, and actually even up to 8,000 words for super competitive. So the more competitive your niche, the longer the post. Terry Kyle did some analysis of various high-ranking pages in Google and found that for most of them, every single page in the top 10 results had over 2,000 words in it, and there was a strong correlation between word count and page position. It pretty much went highest word count, top position, down to lowest word count, lowest position. It was virtually a straight line graph. He found that, as I said, the pages with the words most words usually came up higher in the results. And if you find the idea of writing 2,000 words daunting, I chose a hire writer to do that yesterday. It took 3 different writers. The first 2 gave up. Split it up. Think of it as 4 articles each of around 500 words, and then combine them into one long article. Actually, I'd suggest you do 5 articles and make those about 400 or 500 words each, and then you've got your 5 bullet points. Simple. Split the page up with headings and bullet points and maybe pictures, and that makes it less intimidating for your blog readers. Personally, I use short, often one-sentence paragraphs to give lots and lots of white space on the page. Basically, because if people see a wall of text, they get put off. If they see lots of space, they think, oh, that's easy. WikiHow uses images with short descriptions below each picture, and often then has a summary and bullet points and other information further down the page to increase the word count without distracting people from the main solution it gives. Just develop your own preferred style, but personally, as I said, I think lots of short paragraphs plus headings and bullets works really nicely. Above all, get into a routine for creating content, whether it's one new piece of content daily or even more often, or if it's less often than that. But make it a routine that you develop into a habit and persist with that. Don't do much less than weekly, because otherwise Google will lose interest in you. I know when I post stuff on my own site, the more often I post, the more Google crawls around and the more visitors it sends. It seems almost a straight line on that as well. Over time, you'll create a library of content that makes your website bigger and better than most of your competition, and that's pretty much what all large websites are done: Facebook, Wikipedia, YouTube, etc. Okay, you probably won't have the millions of pages that those sites have got, but over time you'll have created tens and then hundreds and eventually thousands of pages of content, and you'll be surprised how fast that builds up. If it's a page a day, 3 years to get 1,000 pages of content. If you're more prolific, quicker. If you're less prolific, longer. But hundreds should be quite easy. Tens, very, very easy. Should do that in a month. Probably less. And that content gives Google more chance to find your pages and send more visitors to you. Start small and build up and get into a routine. Type or record for, say, 30 to 60 minutes. Then give yourself a short break, or if that's all the time you can spare at the moment, come back to it later today or sometime tomorrow. Don't leave it till next week or next month. You'll be pleasantly surprised how fast things build up and just how much content you can begin to create to help push your internet marketing further, faster. And if you'd like more help and ideas for creating content, click the link below this video and I'll give you some help. Okay, thanks for watching and get on with creating content.